Beauty from Ashes. Welcome back. You have hopefully attended some of the episodes from the past because it will really make a difference if you are going in a sequence. Sara Nada was a normal mom, very active, in charge of many things in her life, a full-time pharmacist, Sunday school teacher, mother for 2 kids, a wife, a daughter, and in 1 hour and afterwards, almost 50 surgeries left her in a wheelchair with only the right arm moving and part of her left hand. In spite of that, you have seen her smiles, her laughs, and her full dependence on God's grace. A power that there is no way it came from human support. Thank you, Sara, for being with us again.
Thank you, Dr. Henny. Great to
It's very, very honoring to us. And I want to call this episode the roller coaster. You came from surgeries, you went home, you were busy with physical therapy. Let's say school started and all of a sudden you are home alone. The kids ask you to do something for them, maybe a sandwich, maybe your daughter is asking to comb her hair, maybe your son is looking for a sneaker. Tell me about life after.
Yeah, life after, we had to do a lot of changes and learn things, how to do things in different ways. And it's amazing how, I was so worried about the kids and how I'm going to take care of the kids from the very beginning. And it turns out that Abuna's words to me were right, that he's the one that gave them to you, and he's the one that's going to take care of them. And I didn't really believe him at that beginning moment because he couldn't convince me that, these little people are going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
But God really showed me that they have a lot of strength, and they were helping me to figure out ways to do things. Like you mentioned, combing my daughter's hair. My daughter has very beautiful curly hair, and it was really hard with one hand to be able to do her hair for every morning. So she's the one that suggested that if she sits on a chair and I'm sitting with my chair behind her, I can, with one hand from the back of the chair, be able to help her tie her hair. So she would come to the level of my hand because my palm's still working. So that was genius, So that solved a lot of problems.
Wow.
But of course, I used to be very, I like to put the different hairstyles and different because maybe now there's only one kind of hairstyle that I know how to do for her, but it's working. We're getting it done.
So you don't get angry that you can't do different hairstyles, or you can make the hair in a standing up, or?
Yeah, at first it makes me frustrated when I see, they see how my facial expressions are with every little thing. So like I said in the beginning, that first interaction with, okay, I'm now a wife and a mom like this, and I'm supposed to take care of this house and do everything and learn everything and take care of myself, which was a challenge in itself. So with that beginning moment of being down, it really affects them. So they were reading my facial expressions of how I'm going to deal with all these changes. And I think that's one thing that also gave me the spirit. And I said, you know what, I have 2 choices. I can either sit in a corner and cry about it, which it's still not going to bring my legs back. It's not going to change whatever happened, because whatever happened already happened. Or I can get up every morning and do what I need to do the small amounts and see where God brings me.
So it's really a choice.
It's a choice.
So the choice of not being depressed is a choice.
This was how I looked at it, because the way that I like to get things done, and I'm very task oriented.
Yeah.
So how are we going to get through with what happened,
Right.
with what we have,
Yeah.
with this busy schedule in the pharmacy, So that's always like how I used to deal with
Oh, you went back to work?
No.
Oh.
No, not yet.
And what about other chores in the house? Like, what about your son? What does he need, or you think he needs and you can or cannot do? What did you modify?
One of the very big challenges was that my house is 2-story and I can't go up the stairs now. Their rooms are upstairs. So I used to tell them to FaceTime their rooms that they cleaned it, and, could follow up with them like that. But that was we had actually moved in that house right before the accident. That was another big thing, is that I kind of almost wanted to blame the house for what happened at a certain point, because it was just, I had everything in boxes. I actually had beautiful ladies from church that helped me unpack the stuff in the house and put them away. So when I came to the kitchen, I didn't know where everything is. I didn't know where, I felt confused and out of place. Yeah. But thank God, it would be hard to tell you that things it just gets better, and the next day you're just gonna wake up and feel no more stress about it or sad about it. And there's just different stages of it, and what ends up happening is that you just get more resilient to how to cope with it.
Yeah.
So it's, there's always challenges, and until now, even with different things that happened and different surgeries and different stories that happened in those surgeries, if I tell you about it, you will not, Yani. There's not enough time in the whole world to tell you that there's still challenges until today. Yes, for sure. But he manages to make sure that he shows me his hand there.
Surgeries you still doing after the 50 surgeries or something?
Yes, I'm still, I was finishing a new surgery called osseointegration, that to do implants, to be able to connect prosthetic legs and be able to walk again.
So they couldn't put prosthetic legs for you? Or
it was hard because of how short the limbs were.
The stump is very small.
Because of the spinal cord injury. Most amputees, they're able to compensate with the upper body strength, but I didn't have that luxury. The left side was falling, the neck was this, so I needed a little more help.
So you are working now on this type of surgery to almost prolong the stump for you to put
up. Yeah, it's there implants that will help me connect the prosthetic.
How do you feel when surgeries are done, promises are given by doctors, and sometimes the results are not as good as you were promised?
Yeah, a lot of times, that the surgeries, you go through a 9-hour surgery like the one I did on my arm, for example, and it was supposed to help it move a lot. I had a lot higher hopes of more movement in it, but it's still just kind of hanging there, and it gets in the way when I'm walking. I have to wear a brace to hold it up when I'm standing up practicing. But it is a step better from what it was. When I woke up in the hospital, they were worried about me sleeping on this arm, because I had no feeling of the arm. I didn't know where my arm. I would wake up not knowing if my arm is on the left or on the right. I would wake up and tell whoever's next to me in the bed, "Can you hand me my arm?" Because I couldn't even turn to see where it is, And also with the pandemic, there was a lot of delays, the surgeries with the walking. ended up having to get delayed many, many times. And it extended the period that I would not be able to train and do standing. So I was in the chair a lot of the time. So now I have to get back into that standing up.
Have you been ever on antidepressants?
I was taking medication that was for nerve pain, but it was also an antidepressant.
But you never really needed antidepressant.
I didn't. I felt like it was the medications were. I don't know if it's because of knowing too much about them, but I always seem to have side effects of meds.
But I think I'm trying to ask because I'm very puzzled as a physician, not just as a servant. I mean, 10% of what you're saying could have made me prescribe antidepressant. And you seem to me like you could tell the psychiatrist what to do rather than you actually accept the psychiatrist to write for you. I am puzzled. You speak about God as his sovereignty and he didn't do anything wrong, when many of us blame God on 1% of what you have. How did you do that?
It's definitely the grace of God is what carried me from the first moment of when my friend, the witness, she prayed on me. From that very first moment, there had to be a purpose. Also, there's many things that happened and people that my son had a friend in school at the same time that I got into my accident, that her mom got in an accident and she passed away. So that little girl doesn't have a mom anymore. So it makes you wonder, like, if, so there's a reason why he kept me alive until now and until this moment. There has to be a purpose. And sometimes maybe I'm still, until now, just trying to search with what does it mean to have faith in God and know what his timing is. And it's patience. A lot of it is a big lesson of patience. And I wasn't very patient before, but I definitely learned to cope with the patience because God's timing is not like our timing. We don't know when he's gonna show the full reason of why. But all I can say is that during the hardest moments and the lowest points is when I felt him the most. That's when I felt him the closest to me. Those days, those very down days. And he's there to just, it's okay for you to tell him the why question and have a full conversation with him on your bed when you're sick. He's gonna listen, and he's gonna give you. He's the only one that has what it takes to be able to cope with it. And there's definitely nothing wrong with medications. I needed to be on a lot of medications to help adjust and pain things and all kinds of things that help you get through a little bit. But definitely being feeling his hand in all of the little trials until this day today. All he manages to make sure I know that he's there, and that's what's most important to me. Is that if he's there, I will be okay. It will be okay. Whatever it is.
Amen. Again, another great sermon, although she is not trying to give a sermon, but every word, every feature of her face speaks volumes of faith, resilience, depending on God's grace, believing that he is here even when the roller coaster goes down and to the lowest point. A woman who many of us would have said she should have gone into depression or suicidal or I don't know what, but she doesn't even think of these things because her hope is on the rock, never shaken. And even when occasional human weakness occurs, right away she holds on his hand, and he is faithful enough to make her know that he is there. So she is the beauty from ashes. We'll see you again. Thank you.